Lawyers for both the New York City man accused of killing a fellow subway passenger and the man who died are discussing that controversial case.
That's right. Daniel Penny, a 24-year-old Marine veteran, pleaded not guilty to criminally negligent homicide and second-degree manslaughter charges in the death of Jordan Neely. Now, Penny is accused of putting Neely, who is black, in a chokehold, ultimately resulting in his death. Neely's family says he was a Michael Jackson impersonator who struggled with mental health and homelessness. Neely's legal team tells CBS News they are confident prosecutors will get a conviction.
I think we want to move to a country and a nation that no matter who you are, if you're harmed, the person who harmed you, no matter who they are, is going to be held responsible.
Thomas Kenniff joins us now. He's one of Daniel Penny's attorneys. Thank you for being here. This case has received a lot of publicity. It's really divided and inflamed tensions on lots of different sides. You ran a publicity campaign that professed Penny's innocence before he was arraigned. That was met with backlash from the family of Jordan Neely. Talk to us about how difficult it is, given that there is a court of public opinion that is weighing in before any jurors do.
Yeah, well, look, I would first say I don't know that it would characterize as a publicity campaign. We have to remember that immediately after this incident, before really anybody knew anything about the case, there was some very strong language. I mean, I would characterize it as vitriolic, not only from the court of public opinion, but remember, from elected officials all the way up to the governor of the state. Prejudging the case, I think, in my opinion, doing violence to the presumption of innocence, which, of course, is a bedrock of our system.
It's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be. It's part of the very constitutional oath that these elected officials swear to defend. So, when you have a situation like that, no one wants to try a case in the media, but you reach the point where, look, you have to make a decision as to whether you're going to counter this narrative or just allow, again, people in positions of power to take, pot shots unfairly at your client. So that was really, probably the biggest thing that was the impetus for us to go out and kind of put out a public message, because we felt we had to respond.
So in a way, you have now opened the door, though, to litigating this in the court of public opinion. To be clear, this will play out in a court of law, and that will be decided and adjudicated later. But there is this legal defense fund that's popped up. I think it's reaching almost $3 million now. A lot of conservative groups have voiced public support for your client. Are you associated with these funds? How did that come about? And what message do you think that sends?
Well, we're absolutely associated with the fund. We created it. We're not associated with any political or conservative groups that have spoke up about it. It is really, we were stunned by the success of it. I mean, this is something that we'd never done before. But my client obviously was facing very serious charges. It's very expensive to defend a case like this, as probably we can all relate to. We said, look, here's an opportunity. There are a lot of people that we knew that really sympathized with the situation that my client found himself in, because this is someone that was trying to do the right thing, and of course, found himself enmeshed in this tragic situation. But we could have never predicted that it would have taken off the way it did. I mean, we did absolutely nothing to market this site other than to put it up on this Give, Send, Go platform, and it just kind of took up from there. And just real quickly, I'll add with respect to that, I actually just asked my paralegal to give me the count. We're at close to 60,000 individual donors. Everybody will talk about politicians retweeting it, musicians making big donations. The average donation has been under $50. It's really been a grassroots, very successful campaign.
But just to quickly follow up on that, what do you make of that, considering none of us were there? Your client was there. The man who lost his life was there. A court of law will have to decide this. So what do you make of people already having their own opinions and having decided this despite that?
Look, I mean, the same way as I brought up before. I mean, we've had people, these are ordinary citizens that are supporting someone who is presumed innocent. I mean, that is our fundamental system. If you have someone accused of a crime, it doesn't matter what they're accused of. The default is that they're innocent. It's up to the prosecution to prove them guilty. So if you have a grassroots effort from across the country where people are giving modest donations to support someone that is defending themselves against the machinations of the criminal justice system, I think that's something we should all celebrate, frankly.
You know, Thomas, this case has become a proxy for all these big issues in society: a broken mental health care system, crime, race in America, Good Samaritans. What do you want the ultimate message to be with the eventual outcome of this trial? And what does your client want that message to be?
Well, I'd unpack that a couple of different ways. Race has nothing to do with this case. Politics has nothing to do with this case. Now, the mental health issue is a different situation. That's something that, as a criminal defense attorney, I've been dealing with clients and defending clients that are at the crossroads of the mental health crisis. And there's no question we need to do a lot more with respect to that. But what this case is about is a individual. It doesn't have to be a hero. He's an everyday guy who was in a situation that none of us would ever want to be in. None of us would ever want to be in a underground, confined, closed container, being threatened by someone with a documented history of being in and out of mental institutions and psychiatric hospitals their entire life, a documented history of violence, a documented history of assaulting women and others in the on subways, on public transportation systems here in the city of New York. Now, there's no question Jordan Neely's death is tragic. Any loss of life is tragic, but we can't deny that that was his history, and that's the history that my client was confronted with on the date of this incident.
We know this will be decided in a court of law. We appreciate you coming to speak with us about your side of it, Thomas Kenniff.
All right, thanks so much, guys.